Hello everyone, welcome back to your weekly astrological transits. This week we're going from Monday, March 4th through Sunday the 10th. And oh my gosh, we have so much going on besides this huge Pisces stellium and the new moon coming in on Saturday. But anyway, I'll just give you a little bit of the glimpses, and I'll go into detail, of course. But so we're going to have Mercury sextile Uranus. It should be great for intuition and getting some downloads, divine guidance. We have Saturn sextile Jupiter. Should be really good for building whatever you're trying to build in your life. And then the only challenging thing is we have Mars and Venus together squaring Uranus almost all week. That might not be so good for relationships. We might have to be careful. I'm saying that to myself. But like I said, the huge Pisces stellium comes in on Saturday. Then late Saturday night, Mercury moves into Aries. So communications and the mind will definitely go faster. And then Sunday's the new moon, like I was saying. Or no, I thought I said Saturday. That was wrong. Sunday's the new moon. And we set our clocks forward on Saturday night, Sunday. Well, if you're on your phone, whatever, computers, it'll do it for you, but some of you might have to run around and fix a couple of clocks. And we lose an hour's sleep. So here's your warning. Get your sleep in. Okay, let me swap out cameras here, and I'll bring you over to my table. We'll go through the charts one day at a time, as usual. Be right back. Okay, so I'm doing this reading on February 29th, and I can't decide if I want to call it leap day or leap year. I guess it's both. But happy leap day, happy leap year, everyone. I don't know what you guys do who were born on the 29th when it's not a leap year. I hope you make the most of it and celebrate like the whole week before and the whole week after. That's how I would deal with it if it were me personally. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about, before I jump into Monday's chart, let me just go ahead and go back a few days and look at, because these are the happenings from yesterday, Wednesday the 28th. Remember, we had, this was yesterday. Today's Thursday, so it's moved off a bit. But if you remember last week's reading, I was pretty much struck by this 9 degrees lineup here. Nine being a number of culmination, and 9 being the end of the first decan in the sign, which is all about something having, trying to get into form, something developed. And what came out on the news was, Mitchy Poo, little Mitch McConnell, he finally announced that he's not going to run for re-election. And that's really interesting to me because hold on, I'll show you his chart real quick. I was able to intuit his birth time, so because it's not online, 5:38 p.m., February 20th, 1942. But anyway, here's his chart right here. See how his sun's in Pisces and his south node is in Pisces right here? And Pluto and Chiron in the 12th, opposing Mercury and Venus. And his chart has a lot going on. I'll try my best to get a reading done on it. But anyway, check out his transits. So Saturn at that 9 degrees. Here's the whole 9-degree lineup yesterday. About the same time that he announced that he wasn't going to run for re-election. But, he'll still sit there until 2020, I think it's 5, 6, somewhere in there before his term's up. He's still going to try. I don't think he'll make it, but God bless him if he does. Saturn on your south node is very indicative of, here we are. Saturn, testing the limits of reality. Saturn, Father Time. Saturn, karmic taskmaster, on his past life point right here. So every degree that Saturn moves forward, it gets tighter and tighter into this orb, into this well of all of his past lives. And I do believe he's one of those reincarnated slave masters. I just do. Everything about him seems apparent. So, but with the Sun and Mercury, Mercury is the messenger, and something within him decided, made the decision to go ahead and announce it, which is fine. He's already had Saturn cross over his Sun, you can see, right? And this is, I'm sure, when things started happening where he, starts freezing up and can't, it's like his own body is taking control. Pluto and Chiron together in his 12th house, no matter which, even if I got this time wrong with my intuition, and looking at when he fell on his porch and broke his shoulder, that's what got me to sit with this and play around with it and try and get the right time. But so it was quite some time ago. But anyway, Pluto and Chiron together is, there were a lot of people that were born or not born into this generation, but who acquired polio. So there you go, right there. And Pluto is opposing. He's one of the few. He's one of the rare, Pluto and Leo generation. Well, actually, it won't be that rare because he's only 82 now. He'll be 84 when he has his Uranus return. And Uranus is right up here. Uranus is right up here in his career, house of career. So, of course, he's, making those big changes as to how he's going to participate in society with this announcement. And, but anyway, with this Pluto opposition, the transformation of the soul, his deepest wounding is literally right there in his body, and he needed to try and heal that. I think he pretty much wasted this lifetime when it comes to trying to heal your deepest wounding, because he didn't work on trying to control himself and his controlling ways. Instead, he just tried to control everyone else. Imagine how life would be if we didn't have all those judges on the SCOTUS bench, right? Imagine if we didn't have, look at all the ones that he held up with. He held up Merrick Garland with Obama. He held up, all these placements that could have gone. He held them back so that the Democrats couldn't get anyone from the Democratic Party into a position of Supreme Court of the United States. So here we are. Here he is, I should say, with Pluto opposing Pluto. I think he's going to have to cross over and have one heck of a life review to get any lessons. But Pluto getting ready to, what's already, 4 degrees from his Venus. So intense, powerful experiences with what he cares about, what he loves, what he's attracting, his money, his values. So there's just a little synopsis of it. I won't go spend any more time on it, but I just wanted you to see that. So let's go ahead and go forward with, let's get to Monday, starting with the 4th. Oh, you know what I forgot to say? First of all, if you want to join me in prayers to just pray rain for Texas, for the Texas Panhandle and Oklahoma, I think Saturn in Pisces could help with that. Saturn being the ruler of the earthly plane. And with the Sun in Pisces still, there together, and Mercury being the messenger, and Neptune, we have a lot of water power here. So peaceful rain, no wind, but peaceful rain that comes down hard and puts out those wildfires and saves all those animals and saves all those people from having to leave their homes. So that's one level there. And also, on the 28th, Saturn, that lineup we had. Well, here, I'll just go back again. There we are. Okay, so this was yesterday again, and all those inconjuncts to the moon and Mars and Venus to the south node with the trine there. Oh, I'm sorry, not inconjunct, sesquisquares. Stubborn aspects coming here off of the moon in Libra, no less. And what did we get? We have the news that Scrotus is going to stay silent as to their, well, I think, this is just my opinion, I think that they brought through their silent agreement to delay Trump's immunity appeal. That gives him more time. And it really irks me because the decision was already settled by the DC Circuit Court of Appeals, and SCOTUS could have decided to just not even don't take it on. But oh no, let's don't take off our Republican hats and robes. Let's be biased. Well, 6 of them anyway. So that came out on the news, and this is them stubbornly holding on and thinking that they've got this ultimate power of justice. Well, I think this is setting them up for some big problems later on. And then in other news, there are massive, I saw, I think it was on Reuters, I saw something come out about the hundreds, well, thousands of cases, but hundreds, I think it was almost up to 500 reported cases of death threats all over the USA for federal judges. Federal judges have been getting death threats, and serious death threats, even so intense that they're being investigated. So there's that. That's again, Saturn, Pisces, all of this issue here, and then the South Node in Libra, people on the bench, and then the North Node in Aries, where people are getting angry. And Eris doesn't really help being there. It's intense. This nodal axis can be kind of warlike on one level if people are very deluded, and that would be the downside of, God, and please don't take any of this on if you guys are Pisces, but someone with the ability to not really think straight and the ability to be gullible, or the preponderance for gullibility, I suppose would be a better way to say that. So there's that. And then one more thing that made me think of what's going on in the news is that it turns out that there's a lot of hospitals where their ER rooms are just over, the hallways are, people are stuck in beds in the hallways for sometimes 2, 3, 4 days. They call it boarding, where they haven't made it into a hospital room to have the surgery that needs to happen. And I mean, we're talking like one article I read had to do with a woman with congestive heart failure, and her ankles were swollen so bad that she couldn't stand anymore. And she, it's like a simple procedure to kind of, I guess, release the fluids, but they couldn't get her into an ER room or get her into an operating room for surgery. And this is an average person with no money. And this is because they are taking these hospitals. This is ruled by Pisces and Neptune and Saturn. That whole right here, Saturn, Neptune, not even anywhere near conjunct yet, but still that's the energy there. Where hospitals, the institutions of hospitals would be Pisces, institutions would be Saturn, institutions of hospitals would also be Neptune. That is, these hospital rooms are not, hospital rooms and operating rooms are not available to people that don't make money or are maybe on Medicare, or it's not a high dollar ticket for the hospital to make a lot of money because they're giving those rooms away to people who are having, high dollar, what do you call it when it's, elective surgery, let's say for, I don't know, eye jobs, nose jobs, plastic surgery, this word I couldn't even think of, things that are just unbelievable to me. But anyway, there you go. I mean, if you need eye surgery for some reason, that's totally different. But I think more and more they're doing those like laser type surgeries in other facilities. So this is part of the issue when we're dealing with a lot of Pisces energy. And also immigration. I totally forgot about immigration. This is all the border crisis here, right? So, okay, now let's start. How many minutes later? My goodness, 15 minutes there. I'll try to go a little quicker. And if I go too quick, you guys can always, go to your little settings wheel in YouTube, and you can slow me down, or you can speed me up if I talk too slow and you want me to go faster. It'll do it for you. So Monday, I have the Monday, March 4th. I have it set for 6 a.m. 6 a.m. in the morning. The moon's in Sag. It's probably in a later degree Sag too. We're only a couple degrees away. 3 degrees away from the moon moving into Capricorn. So with the in that last decan, we've got a decan of the sign of Sag. We have some major, I would think, movement has been happening, and now because of the movement, we're kind of bringing things to a close that we've put out there in the past, things we've spoken up about. We're exploring what matters most, and we're exploring freedom when it comes to Sagittarian energy. And in the last few degrees there of the sign, there's some mastery coming in around those issues. I noticed that, and it's kind of cool because I think back in the early days when Trump was first running, and then he got in. It's like, oh God, I was dying. But when it comes to the newscasters, they were like, okay, well, let's give him a chance and see how it's going to go. And maybe that first year, 2 years even. Then they started seeing people being fired left and right. He had this, I remember Rachel Maddow having this huge wall that couldn't even fit anymore with all the pictures of people that he had let go and trying to bring new people in. That's dictator-like maneuver, actually. So remember that. And then as time went on, the newscasters started talking about watching what he was doing and not what he was saying. And then, of course, they were reporting on how many lies were coming out, always fact-checking him. Lies, lies, lies. Well, now, the way they speak, at least on MSNBC, I noticed that they're always calling it out. And they're not even saying anymore that it's just a twist of the truth, or remember the alternative facts and all of that. They're calling him an outright liar. And calling out the people who are, pushing his lies as well. They'll call him out right there, and they'll stop him, and they won't let him keep talking. So things are shifting, right? And I can attribute that all to Eris in Aries that just isn't taking it anymore, especially the female newscasters. And, of course, with all the things that we've gone through, losing Roe v. Wade and the Dobbs decision, all this is understandable. And so with the moon in Sag, it does bring through, and as I'm doing this reading, probably the moon is in an early degree Sag, but by Monday, or it might be late degree Scorpio, I forgot to look, and I'm not going to go back again. But anyway, suffice to say that we've been digging deep into the truth while the moon was in Sag, and then Scorpio, and then digging our heels in because we know what we want. We want justice. The South Node in Libra is holding space for that. And with double trine up to Mars and Venus. We've been experiencing more and more of wanting that. Aquarius up here is enlightening us and getting us moving us in the direction of wanting more and more enlightenment. And then we have the connection to wanting justice to prevail here with that South Node in Libra. And now with the moon moving all the way through the sign of Sag over the last couple of days, because the moon takes about 2 to 2.5 days to get through one sign, what happens is going through Sag, people are speaking up. They're going to tell you what they believe. I mean, unless they're afraid, and I certainly would say protect yourself if you're in front of a, crazy someone with a gun and, or depending on what state you're in, there can be those, what is it, concealed carry? Great, right? So be careful if you're speaking up, but for the most part, it's about speaking your beliefs. It's about saying how you feel. It can be a little painful for some people if they're not being believed. If you're telling the truth and somebody's not believing you, well, it should just make you feel better that you're telling the truth, and don't worry about what other people think, as long as you're not being cruel and mean and all that, So, and then also, this is like the epitome of religious dogma, and of course all this stuff with Alabama and IVF. Oh my God. And notice that came through when the moon had traveled through Scorpio. So there you go with women's reproductive rights, the family reproductive rights. Nobody wants anything like that to happen. But no, Alabama thinks it's not going to believe in science and wants to go back to biblical whatever. So there we go with the history. But today we have the moon in a stubborn position here, stubborn aspect to Jupiter. Okay, so Jupiter's here wanting healing, wanting safety, wanting people to trust their bodies more, wanting more healing in the body because we're talking Taurus, wanting more healing around financial matters because that's also Taurus, wanting to feel more safe and secure, but also holding firm to your principles, having faith in your principles. That place where you don't need a rule to be told to you. You know what's right and wrong, right? I mean, we don't hurt each other. We don't hit each other. We're not cruel to each other. Kindness. It's all about kindness. But then we've seen so much corruption going on. It's really hard to use that energy in a way that, well, I guess if we can always remember that the corruption was always there. It was just hidden. It's not that it's something new and there's not more of it being manufactured than there was. So you don't have to be afraid about it. I mean, of course, things can always get worse, but that corruption was always there, right? I mean, you look at the bombing and the terrible things in Gaza, and you look at Putin and his threats, and you look at all of that stuff was always there. So there's nothing new. It's just that now we see everything. And it's a good thing, but we have to be very careful about how much we take in. You have to. It's not a healthy thing to keep the news on all the time, of course. I probably sound like a broken record here, but you can get enough of what you need by just, reading it. You don't have to listen to it, but sometimes it's faster and easier to listen to. It all depends, but be careful about taking in too much, especially if you are going through a lot of anxiety, or if it's a time in your life where you're healing physical issues. It's really good to stay away from all of that. Just stay away from it, unless it doesn't raise your, anxiety. But when you're trying to heal, it's good to stay inward, to go inward as much as possible. And all of these Pisces planets here definitely provide that. There's support there, and there's also support with Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, because there can be some very quick healing that comes through to the body if you really will take the time and go within. And even Ceres in Capricorn. Capricorn's it's an inward, it's a shy planet, I'm sorry, sign. And then Ceres has to do with nurturing yourself. And in Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, it can be bones, it can be teeth, it can be all the fascia and the structures in the body that hold your muscles together, fascia, ligaments, tendons. So, yeah. And then with the moon today squaring Neptune, notice how the moon's at 25 degrees, Neptune's at 26, almost 27 degrees of Pisces. With this square, there might be a little test today as to if you really want to get something finished, whatever it is you've been working on, whatever project, or in Sag, it could even be having faith in yourself and believing in yourself. Maybe you've been mastering believing in yourself, and with the square to Neptune, it might be a little challenging because maybe you're thinking that it needs to be a certain way to believe in yourself. You need to have something, or believe in yourself. And I'm saying because of this connection with Jupiter too, and under a little bit of a stress. I guess the best way to say this is to transcend duality by not thinking that you have to have things be a certain way before you think that you're okay with yourself. Overall, these transits look to me like the important message here has to do with letting go of any outer relationship or outer appearance. That's the word. Outer appearance, a mirror from the outside telling you that you're okay, telling you that you're not already just beautiful and brilliant and perfect the way you are. And with all of this energy in all of these planets, Pluto, Venus, and Mars in Aquarius, we're being called to know that you're right. If you're right within yourself, if you can have that self-reflection, you can enlighten yourself by going within your body, doing that inner work to go within, and you can shift reality that way, of course, because everything starts from the inner world first, and then it's reflected to you in the outer world. But if you let go of the outer world needing to reflect back to you your self-worth, then you've already won the the dualistic distraction, I suppose you could call it. It's hard to put it into words. But with the square coming off of Sagittarius over to Neptune in Pisces, so Neptune and the moon are very compatible, okay? Pisces wants to open up, so source energy with Neptune here wants to open up the stop gates and say there are no gates. It's all one. If you can come into the place where you're already one with who you are in your spirit, and you can let go of somebody over here, maybe because this can be the public, right? The moon can be the public. It can also be your mom. It can be a family member. If you can let go of somebody else's opinion, because Sag can be very opinionated, and if you can just let go of that and focus over here, where Mercury is trying to communicate with you, the communication from your higher self is coming through, then that would be the right way to go. That would be the direction. That would be the focus of your energy that would bring through the most, to get the most out of this day, especially, early in the morning. And maybe you had some excellent dream time guidance that came through. I hope so. Let's see, what else? As far as exact, well, we have this Venus-Mars conjunction here, squaring Uranus, and this lasts almost all week. So let's talk a little bit about that, because when it gets to the, Mars isn't an exact square yet to Uranus, but Venus already did square Uranus last week exactly, and we're coming off of that a little bit. But it's still a tight enough orb here to be, impactful. So Mars and Venus together, remember Venus is what we're attracted to. With Aquarius, it's about freedom. It's about inventing something new. It's about listening to your good reasoning abilities. It's about technological advancements. But with Mars there as well, and with the connection to Uranus, there can be some aloofness. I mean, if this is a relationship here, I would hope that you guys both like the same things, because it can be a little extreme sometimes with Aquarian energy, and it can be a little detached. And with the square to Uranus, that could feel kind of shocking. Because remember, with Uranus and Taurus, it's all about waking up to safety, waking up to what matters to you most. It's about waking up to the importance of having safety and security in your life, and that being faithful to the principles that you stand by. And most of all, your self-preservation. So with the square to Mars and Venus, it could be a relationship issue. And because there's also the connection to the South Node, it could be a relationship that comes in from the past and wants to throw you off again, and you have an opportunity to enter a relationship or not. This could be a decision here that's challenging, right? So all I can say is, if it were me, I would just be careful and go slow, because it all will be revealed. There's no commitment energy here that needs to be, there's no reason to commit to anything right away. So take your time and go slow. Things will reveal themselves as you move forward. And this would be for any type of a relationship, partnership, friendship even. Doesn't have to be a love relationship. But it could be fun and exciting with this connection here. If there's someone new that's come in, it could be somebody kind of exciting. But then bottom line question is always, do you feel safe with this person? Does this person seem like they're trustworthy, or are they kind of detached and they just, want to have fun? Fun is great as long as it's safe. Okay, so I hope you catch my drift there. And again, whether it's a partnership or any kind of relationship, even with any type of a healthcare provider, do you feel safe with them? Are they listening to you? Somebody trying to give you advice, do you feel like they're tuned into you, especially if you're paying them for a job done, or any kind of service professional? Are they tuned into you, or do they just have this program that they're trying to overlay onto you, when we're all different, we're all unique. Things aren't one size fits all. So, okay, so that's part of, this is what's going on all week there. And then we also have Mars coming off of, Venus is too far out, but Mars is just coming off of this square to Jupiter. Mars in Aquarius wants to go really fast. Jupiter wants to go slow and expand in safe ways, heal in ways that bring in more safety and security. So, but it can be that there's been a good opening there. but that square is waning, so that tension is coming off today, of course. Let's see. With Pluto, we have a little semi-square here to Saturn. So this can be a deeper insight, and then the need to actually do something and take some action to build more of a solid structure, because Saturn in Pisces wants a spiritual foundation, a structure that can open up to even more, a structure. And when I say structure, I'm thinking of Saturn, but then Pisces is, watery and open and sensitive and inclusive. It brings us into that feeling of something that flows, and you have more opportunities, and the pure potentiality of Pisces. But if there's any trouble, it could be, especially with Pluto, with this semi-square going on here, if there's any trouble, I think it would have to do with feeling like you pick up something on the subconscious, unconscious levels, and there is the wise unconscious, and you might feel yourself getting sucked into something that's not good for you. And then, if you feel it, especially with this connection to, all this Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, if you feel it, if you're empathing, that somebody's not safe, then you know to back off and get the heck out of there. Because the downside of Pisces can be being very, like I was saying before, gullible and self-destructive. And it takes away the opportunities for creating a stable spiritual foundation. It's also addictions. So maybe there's action towards getting into rehab, or helping someone else get into rehab. Because with that semi-square there, there's action to heal the soul, to transform. With Pluto, it's always about transformation. And then also it can be just bringing something up that needs to be eliminated, because you see that it can't get in this. Like, if you want this spiritual foundation in your life, and you've been doing something that keeps you out of your body, then you might want to take action. You might get guidance this morning. It might wake up actually with guidance from Dreamtime that speaks to, oh, I just can't do this anymore. If you don't feel good when you wake up in the morning, and you realize it's, like maybe addiction to sugar, and it's really playing havoc on your body. Or, I don't know, anything to do with the feet, like I was saying last week, like maybe you like to go barefoot, but now you're realizing it's just not so good for your feet, or maybe you've been wearing the wrong footwear for your particular bone structure in your feet, and it's really good to get that right. Otherwise, the foundation, the literal foundation that you're standing on, is always stressed. So, again, back to it's not one size fits all. Not everybody can wear pointy shoes, and not everyone can wear, some people can't handle with shoes with a lot of arch support, and some people really need the arch support, and some people need something in between, right? So there's all this experimentation that has to happen. Myself, I pretty much live in Birkenstocks and Ugg boots. And then Sorels when I have to go out, in the snow. But yeah, so there's that. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else before moving on. Besides, we can see all the sextiles coming off of here. So it's Chiron and the North Node that have the nice sextile here. Well, actually, and Venus connecting to Eris. Let's focus on just two here, so that in case you're learning, we don't get too much going on, which is confusing. So Notice how the North Node and Chiron, 16, 17 degrees here. Mars at 15 degrees over here. So we've got, just 1 to 2 degrees of, it's very tight orb. And the sextiles here, anytime you see this little, like the little star, you see that there's a sextile. Like right now, there's a sextile coming off a Ceres to Saturn. And then we have this sextile here. I'm going to focus in on this one here first, though. So sextiles equal opportunities. So the opportunity here coming off of Mars is movement, motivation, what gets you going, what we're, I don't know, just feeling like going for, basically, with Mars. Mars also brings in, desire. It's kind of like what we'll fight for. Awesome, sometimes, and then not so awesome later. It gets things, it activates and gets things going in a way that can sometimes be really enthusiastic, and then other times can be just super competitive. And it's usually related to, of course, the masculine. And it doesn't mean that that's a gender quality. I'm just saying that it's, that movement, putting something out there. So there's an opportunity to move towards more freedom, more intuition, more ways to reinvent yourself. Aquarius is also about disseminating something. So again, it's like a double amount of putting something out there. So what is it that you want to put out there? You have the opportunity to do that because it's helping you move forward in the direction that we're all going, which is Aries, and we're well into that second decan of Aries, which has to do with integrating something that we've been working on. So moving forward, remember Aries is ruled by Mars. So we've got a double whammy here. And then with Chiron, it's all about healing our deepest inner conflicts that have to do with knowing that we matter. We deserve to move forward and trust our instincts and have a little more daring boldness about us. It's our, when I see Aries, I always think of like blazing our own trails and asserting ourselves. Positive self-assertion is a good thing. And then with sextiles, we also have healing opportunities, and the opportunity between these would be knowing that your unique individuality, I'm speaking to Aquarius again, as long as it's a healthy little bit of rebellion, which kind of says, oh, yeah, fine, okay, I know, you think that, well, I think this, but we can agree to disagree and still love each other, but I'm going this way. You can go ahead and sit right there, or you can go that way. I don't care. I'm free, right? It's that kind of energy. And it ties back to the South Node in Libra, where you've sat for too long in what other people thought about you and caring what the neighbors think and appearance values and dependency, codependency dynamics. I'm speaking to, all the pitfalls of Libra. But now you're on this new bridge to yourself, and it's moving really quickly, and it gets you going in the direction. And we've got the aspect of the architect here, no less, which builds this nice, this nice new life, if that's where you're headed. Or the same life, but with healthier boundaries and hopefully a little more fun. With Aquarian, with all this Aquarius energy here, it's the movement towards being a little more sociable. COVID's still out there. That's the thing. It's still out there, and we have to be really careful. But we can get together online. We can text. We can talk on the phone. I still talk to my granddaughters on the phone all the time, and I feel so connected with them. Just because I had so much time with them when they were little, and you know what it's like when it's like time doesn't really matter. Like you're in that present moment. There's so much in the voice, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. But it's still good to see people. So anyway, with Libra, there's the I can't even say it, sociability, social, people wanting to be connected. And the Aquarian nature is all about wanting to be connected. But the Aries energy is like being present with yourself at the same time. So that's wonderful, actually. So the Venus with the sextile to Eris brings in, again, Venus is about wanting and desiring and attracting, but bringing in a little more harmony. Mars doesn't care about the harmony, but Venus really does. Venus wants things to be more free, and Venus in Aquarius, I should say, wants things to be more free. But Venus alone, no matter what sign, will always make those comparison values to decide on what they want. In Aquarius, Venus can be kind of indulging sometimes, but in Aquarius, I don't know. I think it would be more about being more objective, but there's so much here about, free thinking. With Aquarius in this sextile over to, and this is an approaching sextile, so the energy's stronger when you're going into it than when you're coming out of it. So the waxing, approaching energy over to Eris, which is just sitting there, sitting there. But with this strength of like, no, I will always dare to assert myself, right? And it's in that last decan of Aries, so we're dealing with mastering the ability to create win-win situations, because it's also, pretty close to Chiron coming into conjunction there. So Chiron in Aries, if you can get that through your soul, if you can get that healing done, that soul work done, that knows that you matter, that knows that you can, assert yourself, but be careful about being demanding on other people, then you can make great progress there, and Venus is there to support it and help it bring that whole piece of soul substance back into unity with your spirit. If your soul is clear, it will infuse with the spirit of who you are. And then, those are the kind of people you hang out with, and it's like their light is just coming right through. There's no, there's no hiding, there's no fakeness, there's no mask, there's no, it's like you're in awe, right? You've seen those people, you've seen those kids. They're the little ones all the time. You just love it. So we can expect to see more of that with this transit going on, and that can be really, really wonderful. With the inconjunct here, see how the sun is at 14 degrees, and you can see Saturn is going that way too. The nodes move much, I wouldn't say they move slower than Saturn, but anyway, I'll just focus on what's for now when it comes to an exact, because the inconjunct quincunx aspect, it only comes in when it's a really tight orb, 0 to 3 degrees. So the sun, shining the light in Pisces, and remember again, Pisces is all about healing and flowing, nice, easy energy that assimilates and is adaptable and flexible, but is good at, feeling into what needs to be, maybe what needs to happen or what needs to be considered. Piscean energy is very compassionate. And so it can be all of those things or any of those things that also connects back to something from the past. And there's an adjustment that's made because you understand there's like a deja vu experience or 20/20 hindsight, whatever you want to call it, or it could be both. but you're there's something that's just kind of bubbling up from the past, especially in relationship or a social situation, and you remember how it went, and so you can make a new decision to do it differently. With the Pisces energy, you can be more open with yourself and with others. But, if you're dealing with somebody who's gullible and somebody who's yelling at you or anything weird like that, things like that can happen, then to hightail it and get the heck away. So, yeah. So, again, with the Sun and Mercury here together, you can see the sextile also over to Uranus. And so we've got Saturn in the sextile to Jupiter. So there we are with the spiritual, healthy boundaries and foundations in relationships so that you feel safer. Remember, Venus rules Taurus and Libra, and Venus in Aquarius up here is wanting to be more free, but Jupiter in Taurus here is wanting to be more safe. And coming off of Saturn, for sure, we want those boundaries, because otherwise we can't relax. Because Piscean energy is super, super sensitive. So, you could be empathing what is really going on when you're hanging out with somebody. You're feeling it all in your body, right? So there are those possibilities. And it's just useful information. You don't have to be afraid that you're going to, get sucked in. And unless you don't have healthy boundaries and you're learning healthy boundaries, your body will actually help you learn it faster. But to me, I just get it. It's like useful information, and then I go, oh, okay, that's what's going on, and then I let it go. Once I acknowledge it, I don't have to say it out loud, but once I acknowledge it in my body, and I go, oh, then, because I have enough training in my body to know what it means, right? So if you've done that work, or you're working on that, these transits are really useful for it, by the way, for working on it. And getting more understanding, because Pisces energy is all about understanding, bringing something full circle too. And then you're in that flow where you kind of can trust life more, actually, because you trust your body, you trust yourself. Okay, so what else? Sun and Mercury here, trining Uranus, sextiling Uranus, can bring through, in every day that goes forward with the sun, will bring it even more. Like right now, see how it's 5 degrees apart? It's not a tight, you can't totally see it, but it's going to come in. So just trust me that it's going to be there. You can see how Saturn sextiling Jupiter is definitely already there. But the sun, picking up on the Mercury, well, Mercury's moving pretty quick too, though. But we've got enough of the influence here over to Uranus. Mercury is definitely exactly sextiling Uranus, even though it's a little tricky to see. Maybe, hold on. Maybe if I just... yeah. See how you can barely see this blue line here? And notice how it goes up here to Mercury. Okay? Mercury sextile Uranus is being hooked up with the divine mind. Mercury's a mind, Uranus is divination, intuitive intelligence. Sometimes it comes through hearing, hearing things that your higher self is trying to tune you into. For a lot of people, I think understanding astrology would be heightened with this transit. And this is today. See how Mercury's at 19 degrees 10 minutes. Uranus is at 19:41 minutes. So this is today. And let's go ahead tomorrow, or move ahead to tomorrow and see how that is. See if Mercury goes so darn fast, it's already gone past. So Monday is a really good day for intuitive work. And I would think meditation, if you can calm yourself down, because there's a lot of, that all this Aquarian energy up here can move really fast. But today, Tuesday morning, with 6 a.m. March 5th, we have the moon has already moved into Capricorn. It's gone from Sag to Capricorn, and it's right there conjunct with Ceres. So if you get up really early, the moon will probably be over here on this side of it, but it's okay. Just suffice to say, with the moon, you're going to want to respond in ways that bring in more stability for yourself and others. You're probably going to feel like today's a really good work day where you can get things done. You don't mind working hard. You definitely want, you want to be respected when the moon's in Capricorn. It can bring in those emotions around not being respected or not being seen, being overlooked when you're the one doing all the work, but somebody else is getting all the attention. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's just life. Don't worry about it. But if those feelings come up, honor them, because you can be certain that they were predominant in your childhood when you were growing up, and so you're probably healing something from the past, especially with Ceres there. Okay, so let's see. We have both the moon, and so the moon has picked up the energy off of Ceres. And remember, I'll do a little reminder on Ceres is about our protectiveness and what we are loyal to, and how we care about animals and ourselves and other human beings. It rules all things that are connected to, what we need in our daily lives, like food, and also all the transitions that a woman goes through. So I don't know if something's going to come through on the news today, because with this trine down to Jupiter, there could be some healing. Maybe there's I don't know, something that comes through with this Alabama IVF, where they're saying that this is just crazy. These people are nuts. These religious extremists are insane, and there are enough judges that say we're not getting on board with any of that. And in other states as well, maybe, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm saying that because there's this trine over here, both the moon and Ceres trining Jupiter, and Jupiter's moved on to 12 degrees now, and so we've, every hour that goes by with the moon trine Jupiter, there's that opportunity for healing the body, working hard to be secure and safe, and you don't mind it. It's about shoring up the details and all of that, getting things together in ways that bring a whole lot more stability than you've ever had before. So this is nice. And then as the moon goes forward, let's see, is there anything else I need to focus on? These are just getting closer and closer in orbs. So yeah, I think I'm safe to go. Let's do this. Let me go to the hours here. Let's just get you a time here when the moon, I want to see when the moon is close enough to the trine to Uranus. So it's 14, there's 5 degrees there. Yeah, so there's still the connection to Jupiter, but now there's also the connection to Uranus. So what time is it? 2 p.m. Okay, so by this afternoon, it's very possible that something comes through quickly. Or there's some guidance, because the moon to Uranus is also some divine guidance, right? That could, and again, empathing, because both Taurus and Capricorn and Virgo, we don't have anything in Virgo today, but those earthly signs are very much in the body. So there's an opportunity to get information, empathing information, or information just in that direct knowing, where all of a sudden you're like, oh, hey, I didn't think about that before. Well, all that Pisces energy over here helps as well. So I like that. Okay, let's go to Wednesday morning. We have the moon in Capricorn with that trine to Uranus still, it's coming off, but there's still that connection. So remember what I said, anything from about, let's say, even 1 p.m. to 1 p.m. yesterday, the 5th, Tuesday the 5th, to Wednesday, morning, and I clocked it at 4 a.m. here to make sure that we see it here. We have all of this. So we're talking dream time information, inventive energy here, really inventive energy, but also that type of energy where, because of all the Aquarian and Pisces energy, where there's, the ability to have something much more solid when it comes to friendships and groups. Remember, the Aquarian energy is like, and so is Uranus, is very goal-oriented. Like think of the stars and all those connections that the stars make with each other, and all the planets that are connected to each other, and then bringing that into like earthly form. Whatever you're working towards, there's some genius that can come through, and it could be very, very good for humanity. There could be some humanitarian breakthroughs, I really hope. And we can see that Mars is trining the South Node now, and we still have that aspect of the architect going on here. So we're dealing with the North Node and the South Node. Okay, so the past and relationship and the bridge to social equality, the bridge to relationships that are more stimulating and engaging and sharing inequality. And then that, the mirroring back and forth between yourself and other is very much part of the Aries Libra experience. And then with the North Node in a sextile up to Mars, and Mars in the trine to the South Node, we've got that aspect of the architect again that, or has been there, but now it's involving Mars. So now there's a lot of movement. Okay, I really think that you guys are going to see a lot of movement in your life. So that's really wonderful. And then you can see that Mars is also sextiling Chiron, because 17 degrees here and 17 degrees here. So movement in healing your deepest inner conflicts, especially for those of you who are between 50 and 52 and you're having your Chiron return. You can really get some good soul work done if you just work on, like I said before, knowing that you can trust your instincts and go towards what feels like the right time for you to move forward. As long as you're thinking big picture terms, and with all the Piscean energy, I would think most people are. But the only thing to be careful with when it comes to Aries, just be careful of it being impulsive. Go slow. Think about what things might create. Think about having things set in a certain way before you decide to go and do something. But then again, too, sometimes you start something and then you run into a wall, or you make a mistake and you go, oh, okay. It's not really a mistake if you learn a lesson, as long as you don't hurt someone, right? Also with Aries and Chiron, or Chiron in Aries energy here, the North Node, we're all learning to not abandon ourselves. Or, Aries can be about abandonment issues. So if you don't abandon yourself like you were abandoned as a child, of course, many, many, many souls have been neglected and abandoned. And but healing that means that you don't abandon yourself anymore. Okay? If you get that, you're doing that deeper work, and everything should work out fine. So with the moon and with the trine to Uranus, I think that's wonderful. But we have the moon squaring, and especially every hour that goes forward, we have the moon squaring Eris. So the moon in Capricorn wants to go slow but get it done, wants to do it right, wants to have control, that's for sure. It's willing to work on the goals. It's willing to get the constructions right, get the plans right, get bring in some more even opportunities. It's good with just working on yourself too. But with the square to Eris, there could be some challenges if somebody doesn't want to play right and do their work. I'm in my mind's. I'm seeing the Three of Pentacles, and I'm thinking, and I know that card's ruled by Mars in Capricorn, but I'm thinking like, teamwork. Teamwork might not be so good this morning. There might be some challenges to teamwork. And it's because somebody, and it might be a good thing to have control over your project, and somebody else might want to just run with it, and it's your project, not theirs, right? There could be some confrontation there. And this would just be a challenge. There's a little tension field where you have to make some kind of a decision. But then again, too, squares can bring through, now it doesn't matter what sign it is, but squares can bring through a time to self-reflect. It can bring through a time to make a decision on taking actions. It can help us recognize turning points in our lives. It can help us to work through maybe some resistance. Like there could be some resistance to hard work with this sign here, or with this aspect going on. But it can also, like I said before, it can really help you, accomplish a goal. So, yeah, and with the moon, it's going to have to do with that feeling of wanting to get it done. And that can actually be good. So, let's see, anything else? We still have that sun in conjunct the south node. Shining a light on a bigger picture here. And then we can make an adjustment from the past that makes it better because we're integrating something from the past with the south node in that second decan of Libra. Same thing with the sun. It's about integration there. Ceres. Ceres trine Jupiter again still. We still have this aspect happening for quite some time. Or, maybe a couple months here. So opportunities for an easier, faster flow to heal and bring through more security. Good time for stocking up on food, canned goods maybe. Good time for starting to think about what to plant in your garden. Saving up some cash around the house or something like that. I'm trying to think of all the things that make people feel more safe, because Jupiter and Taurus is all about that. And Ceres as well, because Ceres rules farming and food. So, let's go ahead and go to Thursday. No, Wednesday night. And that's because the moon hits up Pluto. 5 p.m., okay, Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and just in between. The moon and Pluto can be kind of intense. But then again, in Aquarius, what's it going to be intense about? Well, Aquarius energy is known for being clever and funny, but kind of unpredictable and erratic. Might be hard to pin somebody down. And you might not want to. Aquarian energy can be kind of aloof, but it can also be really fun in connecting with a lot of different people. It's known for being progressive. It's known for inventing, new things that are just really original. Again, like I said, it's known for intuition. And then sometimes being very sincere. Other times being aloof. It all depends on the person. But with the moon in Aquarius, I would think that, especially hooked up with Pluto, we're really going to want more freedom. And, we just might have to be careful about how we get it, right? The moon is squaring, hold on. So we've got 0 degrees here, 24 degrees here, yeah. So we've got the square to Eris. So yeah, if there's rebellious energy coming through, I wouldn't be surprised in the evening. And there's a lot of energy here too. So it's one of those nights to not get in a fight and not stay up too late. And because we set our clocks forward on the 10th, we want to make sure we're we have some extra hours banked in sleeping up, because we're going to lose an hour. Sunday, we're going to wake up earlier. Or wake up and it's later. It depends on how you feel. But yeah, this can be electrifying energy here. With this, I mean, there's a stellium in Aquarius and a stellium in Pisces. It can be great for meditation, especially if you're trying to invent something new, or you're working on something that you've been inventing or you've already invented, or if you're reinventing yourself. The energy's there and it's wonderful. But especially with, Mars still in that square to Uranus, there's that, Uranus rules Aquarius, so we've got the double whammy there. Yeah. Let's see, what else? The Piscean energy can help us in dream time. And with the sextile up from Ceres to Saturn, again, there's so much support in dream time, so much support for healing, for creating more safety, for healing old belief systems that do not support your new level of growth, letting go of the old, opening, bringing in the new. Yeah. So I just wanted to let you know that timing there. Okay, Thursday. So it won't have gone too far, but, 12, 13 hours. So the moon's still in Aquarius. We've got that incredible, stellium going on there. With the moon moving, every degree closer to Mars, whatever came through with the moon conjunct Pluto, whatever awareness bubbled up from within, came through your emotional body, feeling body, intuition, all of those responses, it's whatever you got information-wise, and maybe found yourself just instinctually doing, there's going to be even more movement as the moon moves towards Mars. And it could also be a little bit of bumping into somebody else who wants to go in a different direction and it's not compatible. Moon Mars can be, a little bit of, in Aquarius, it might be my way or the highway kind of thing, or I'm better than you, and those kind of feelings. Like you might intuit somebody who thinks they're all that and a bag of chips and somehow superior to everyone else. Those things happen. Again, Mars is still in the square to Uranus, so that's a double whammy of what I was just talking about. Yeah, the moon squaring Jupiter, it can be blown out of proportion. Yeah, I would say, and then with Mercury at 24 degrees and conjunct Neptune at 26 degrees in Pisces, I would say this is definitely a really good day to stay away from talking about anything controversial with somebody that you don't know well. It might be great for talking to somebody that you do know well, and you guys can have a lot of fun and laugh about it. But somebody that has a completely different set of values and beliefs than you do, I would recommend just letting those conversations go for later. Let's see. I think that's about it there. Except for the moon is trining the south node. Every hour it goes forward, it will trine even tighter to the south node in Libra. So this could this could be good for a relationship here. So we have good and challenging for relationship issues today. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and go to Friday. So Friday, now we really do have the moon and Mars, and they're also, the moon's hooking up with Venus too. So the moon's in the middle, like the sandwich, in between Mars and Venus. So Mars wants something, Venus is, bringing in something, attracting something, and the moon is there to kind of, that's you and your emotional body and your intuition going, oh, well, now I know what they want now, and I really know what I want. And do they jive? Do we jive? If you jive, if it's compatible, you've really got something strong here, because there's a nice connection to the past and the same, belief system, and nice opportunities coming in with the sextile to Eris, which is very powerful. Very, very powerful. Remember, she's our feminine counterpoint, aspect, I suppose you could say, of Pluto. So, yeah. Let's see. Well, Pluto and Mars, actually. Yeah, Ceres is getting even tighter to the trine to Jupiter. Ceres has now moved 1 degree ahead. And now we have a 5 degrees of separation, well, about 4 actually, no, but the nodes go backwards. Well, yeah, no, actually that'll make it even tighter. With the square, so about 4 degrees of a square to Ceres. So again, with Ceres, it's wanting safety and it's wanting to nurture, those that are loyal to each other. And with the square to the south node, there might be something that comes through that challenges that. And that's also the case because Ceres is in a T-square to the north node. So here you are, wanting to go in one direction. You've got relationships from the past, and now you're weighing the options or making decisions around what things make the most sense to you to move forward in ways that you can control your life better, in ways that sometimes, because Ceres can relate to grief and separation. So this could be some people leaving the planet, and it's, sometimes people, pick up on all the waves of grief that are, especially with all the Piscean energy. All the waves of grief when somebody crosses over, like a famous person, or I remember that when Princess Di crossed over. I was in a school for hands-on healing, and man, when you open yourself up to the all, it's like you start picking up on everything that's out there, So that was quite a lesson. There could be something like that with all this empathing energy in Pisces here. I'm thinking that that's a very real possibility. And then, but on other levels, there'll be a day. This will be a day or a period, actually, because this is coming into focus, and this is just not today. Because we've, again, 4 degrees of separation here. As Ceres moves forward, it'll get tighter and tighter. So we'll carry this into next week as well. And it's all about making those decisions in relationships, and are they with you? Are you headed in the same direction or not? And the issues have to do with nurturing humanity and your loyalty to humanity, healing your maternal imprint and your home environment, and then, of course, everything to do with food and women's reproductive rights and all the phases that a woman goes through. Okay, let's go ahead. Oh, wait, hold on. No, let me check. Got the trine, sextile. Yeah, no, we're good. Moon. Oh, wait. Yeah, the moon's still squaring Uranus. Whatever. We talked about that. Saturday, we have the Pisces. Look at this. Moon, Saturn, Sun, Neptune, Mercury has moved on the other side, but look at this. 5 planets, or well, 3 planets and 2 luminaries, because the sun and the moon are luminaries, in Pisces. That's a whole lot of Pisces. And that T square to the nodes I already talked about there. So I'll just let that go. But let's talk about this Pisces stellium here. So remember, a stellium is 3 or more planets in the same sign. We also have the stellium in Aquarius going on. So, but with the moon really close to Saturn this morning, and I clocked it at 6 a.m., so it's March 9th, the moon and Saturn will be more serious today. We'll be feeling more serious. I hope you don't wake up with some dreams that are kind of depressing and down, but this is also really good time, a really good day for waking up and listening to Dreamtime guidance, getting guidance while you're sleeping, and then waking up and going, oh, okay, and especially because the sun is sextiling Uranus, there's some guidance there, right? We've got intuitive guidance and coming through Uranus, and intuitive, even source creative energy coming through Neptune. But also, Neptune rules dream time. It also rules the ocean and gases and movies, film, anything, plastics, anything that comes from gas and oil. So between Mercury and Neptune conjunct, Mercury being the messenger, that really can help you. Waking up this morning, you could have some divine guidance that can really help you understand the patterns in your life and the way your life is working based on your beliefs and how you've created everything based on your beliefs in the past. And it's, those times when you wake up and you go, because you had a dream or something came through a meditation and you go, oh, of course, it couldn't have been any other way in that relationship or in that job or how my life was then, because that's where I was. And we are where we are because we're working through something, and life is mirroring back to us the sum total of all of our beliefs all the time. Now, it's not perfect. It'll never be perfect because on Earth things are just not perfect. But, for the most part, it's pretty strongly related to our belief system. So all that's up for looking at. And then Ceres there helping to guide you on your path. And but with the moon and Saturn, things can be serious, like I was saying. But every hour that the moon moves past, Saturn, it'll break up. But the moon's going to hook up with the sun. This will be our new moon that's coming in tomorrow. I have that chart next. And so this is the time. This is really good. Well, actually all week is, but especially Thursday, Friday, Saturday is really good to start setting your intention, because wherever you have 20 degrees of Pisces in your chart, whatever house that comes in, you can really get some, you set those intentions and then energy wraps around the intentions. And if you work on bringing it through, you can have something materialize or come to fruition within the next full moon, which would just be 2 weeks away, right? So, and whatever house it comes in your chart, that's the area. Each house is an area of your life. Like, let's say you want to learn something new and you have Pisces, 20 degrees of Pisces in your third house. You could set the intention to really understand something more deeply, and then you study hard for the next couple of weeks. You could really make some headway on some, a project that you're really trying to understand or topic that you're trying to learn about. So I think that's it. Let's just go ahead and go forward to the new moon. Okay, so the Pisces new moon comes in at 1 a.m. Pacific, Sunday, March 10th. Okay, so adjust according to your clock, but whenever you, And this is also, what is it, 2 a.m.? The clock goes forward. Anyway, yeah. I hope you can sleep in. It would be a good morning for sleeping in. But the aspects to the new moon, so like I said, 20 degrees, 16 minutes of Pisces. The aspects to the new moon are serious because of the moon's little sojourn crossing over Saturn. But Saturn brings in structure and form. Saturn's our planet that helps us control something, but it can also delay something. It can also deny something that you're not ready for or that's not good for you. It can be protection. Usually I associate Jupiter with protection. But, and Jupiter and Uranus are getting so close together. I'll talk about that for, we're going to have that in April. So, that actual, conjunction. But meanwhile, all systems are go for creating solid structures that are seriously, if you're committed to having a strong spiritual foundation in your life, there's no better time to create it. But it's an awful time to be gullible. It's an awful time to be in a cult. It's an awful time to be rebelling against the laws of love. It's an awful time to not be committed to loving your brother and sister. It's an awful time to be corrupt. It's an awful time to be unjust. So those things are going to be dissolving in the future. It's a wonderful time to be free and open to all humanitarian issues. And with this new moon here, we have that 20 degrees there connecting in this beautiful sextile over to Uranus. So the sun and the moon sextile Uranus bring through this double whammy of opportunity to really create freedom in your life that is in ways that really, really help you feel safe and secure within yourself. Remember, if you're loving and kind and doing your best to create more peace and kindness on the planet, that's what you'll get back. But you don't want to do it just so that's what you get back. It's just who you are. Who you are is, it's in your auric field, it's in your body, and you are always attracting back to you whatever you need in order to heal. So this Piscean energy here over to Uranus can help us wake up to the healthy boundaries we might need with some people, and can help us be free in ways that bring in more solidification or that solid safety that is necessary in order to build. Remember, I've said this a million times, or well, not a million, I'm exaggerating, but I've said this many times, is that if you don't have a strong, stable, solid foundation, you can't build anything, because you're building something on a house of cards. You're building on sand. The structure will fall apart. So if you're in a relationship with somebody that you can't trust, or a partnership with somebody that's not trustworthy, or you're following some guru, I don't recommend any guru ships at all out there. But if you're looking up to somebody, just one person, as to the answer to everything, and you got to be like that person, that really isn't the way to get inside of your own unique beauty and original essence that doesn't need an outside authority, right? It's all about going within and finding your own inner authority. That's what the sojourn of Pluto in Capricorn was all about. So now that it's in Aquarius, well, it's going to retrograde, and we'll have that experience later in the year. But for now, we've got this opening to be more free. Now that you know who you truly are, you can be more free, and you can put that beautiful energy out there. And with Mercury, with a sextile to Pluto, it's powerful. Pluto's power. So the power of freedom and liberation is what everyone's going to be thinking about more. And Mercury is also, I don't know if I clocked the time that Mercury moved into Aries, but you can see that 1 a.m. it's there, so it happened. It happened earlier than, I don't think, do you guys even care? Does it matter what exact time was? It happened in the middle of the night. Mercury in Aries, probably you'd rather know what that means, right? So remember, Mercury is our planet of communication. It's a messenger. It helps to articulate. It helps to negotiate. It helps to hook up and figure out patterns. It helps to analyze things. It's very rational. It's all about writing and expressing our opinions. And it also rules siblings, brothers and sisters, of course. So there's that. And then we add the energy of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars, so it's kind of like putting Mercury and Mars together. There can be some verbal diarrhea. There can be some lots of fast, instinctual communication that comes through. It can be people thinking about winning. I gotta win. I gotta win. I just gotta win. I had to be first. That kind of thing. So that's why I was saying earlier to be very, if you can, make a concentrated focus, not only to set your intentions for the new moon, but also to get enough sleep this week, because Sunday, I don't know that you're going to feel very, I hope you do. I hope that the new moon is very peaceful and relaxing, and you get to sleep like a baby and wake up and go, oh, well, the moon's in Aries, so I, maybe have a lot to talk about. I think that's pretty cool if you do. But be wary of other people that might not be able to take in all that information, because there can be kind of information overload here between Aquarius and Aries. Aries moves fast. Aquarius goes like lightning speed of light, right? And Uranus and Taurus, we've got the speed of light in the body. And with these 3 sextiles coming off from over here with Saturn and the moon, and Neptune's not involved. It's mostly the new moon, right? But it's also Saturn's picking up some steam there a little bit, even though it's not tight. I guess it's Saturn actually over to Jupiter that I'm still seeing there. Yeah, that's what it is. Because we've only got 1 degree of separation here. So yeah, I love that we have at least Jupiter and Uranus in, then again, in Taurus, just because Taurus can slow things down. Ceres and Capricorn can slow things down, because all the other energy is pretty fast moving and can be all over the place with the Piscean energy there too. But I a little caveat here, Jupiter expands and Uranus goes fast. So with the Taurus energy, it can be great for making money. That's good. It can be great for bringing in more opportunities to, to have some solid structure in your life. But again, with Mercury and Aries now, things are going to pick up. Things will definitely be picking up. So let's see. I think, the Mars square to Uranus. It's like you're actually going to want to go fast and finally get things done. So I think that's about it, actually. Did I have anything else? No, that's it. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this uploaded and wish you all a wonderful, wonderful week, and have a good weekend as well coming up. Okay, bye.